Hello from Delmarva. Welcome back to Shorebilly Farmer. Well, it is a beautiful day. Just got off work and we've got a couple odds and end things to do. While it's nice outside, I figured it'd be a good day to do it. We're not done cutting ditch banks yet. A couple of the fields that we still have yet to go do are still a little too wet. I don't want to tear up around the edge of the fields because we do have wheat planted in those fields, and we haven't decided yet if we are going to harvest our wheat or plow it under and basically call it a loss. Because of the amount of rain and inundation, a lot of the wheat has died. But we want to see what'll come back to life. Anyway, I took the display out of the sprayer, our GPS display, and we're going to put it in the John Deere over there because we're going to be using that John Deere to spread lime in the fields. We've got about 200 tons of lime to spread this year. And it would be nice to have GPS to make sure we don't overlap too much and we don't waste the lime. Lime is expensive. I'm in the middle of making a jumper to go between the 6-pin plug that's on the back of the display and that's in that sprayer to, in the John Deere, we already have an existing 4-pin plug for the display that is in there for when we're planting. So all I'm doing is just making a quick jumper. For those of you that don't know, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but these are called Deutsch connectors. I've always just called them Deutsch connectors, Dutch connectors. I don't know what people pronounce them as, but these are pretty nice. These are pretty nice connectors because they are chemical resistant. They are very dust and water resistant, meaning that water doesn't get in there and corrode the contacts. And for all intents and purposes, they're pretty stout. I've never really broken one. And they come apart pretty easily, which is a definite plus. So we're making up a little jumper so that way we could put that display in that tractor. There, it took me all of that to say that. Ta-da! All right, we got a little jumper made up. And what you didn't see is me. I went around with the voltmeter and verified the pinouts of the plugs in each tractor to make sure we had the right polarity. So you didn't see that part. All you saw was me making this little jumper. I already got the display in there. So all we got to do is plug this in and either watch the smoke pour out of it, let the magic smoke out, let the ghost out, whatever you call it, or it'll work. We're hoping for the latter. We hope that it works. And this is why you don't do things in a hurry. I wrote everything down, and for some reason I wrote down that this was a male plug. It's not. It's a female plug. So I gotta take this plug back off and put a female back on there. It happened. I told you all, time and time again, I'm not ever gonna be accused of being the smartest person. Back to the proverbial drawing board. The good thing is this won't get wasted. All I gotta do is cut the cable like so and remove the pins. It's no big deal. We're gonna get the female, and female. All right, got the right connector on there now, so we just won't tell anybody I screwed up. It's between you and me. Well, now we get to go see if we're gonna let the magic smoke out. Oh, this tractor's filthy. But what do you expect when it's always muddy? Let's see what we got. Okay, no immediate sparks. That's a good sign. Oh, look at that. Would you look at that? All right. The other night I came out here and already loaded a configuration in here to run the spreader. So, yeah, I know it's yelling at me because I don't have all the other stuff hooked up, all the switches for the sprayer. Pretty smart device. So go quick active. Nope. Display. Nope, that's wrong. Retrieve data. Nope, that ain't right. Vehicle setup. Nope, that ain't right. Status. Nope. Implement setup. Nope, that ain't. Save load configuration. There we go. Load a configuration. We're gonna load right here. Tractor spreader. So that's what I already had entered. It's loaded. Yep, see. So now we don't have all these different section assignments. We just have one spreader swath there because the spreader, you don't turn off sections. It's just broadcast spread about 45 feet. And that's it. So now the only thing I have left to do is I got to hook up the antenna, put it up on the roof, and we will be golden. Okay, somewhere in here is, there it is. Ah! There's too much junk in here. This is a dangerous place to work. I mean, work on equipment all you want, but trying to get parts out of the shop, nope, hazard pay. If I fall off here, I'm probably going to roll a very long way before I stop. If you don't see me come back to the camera, call somebody. I lived! Bump, 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 bump. Gotta pull our cable through. The excess I will coil up and just leave in the floor because this is not going to stay in here that long. It'll only be in here for a week maybe. But it will be very, very useful nonetheless. That would be right in the way. And make sure you got plenty of cable. I'll give them that. My golly, they're going to make sure you got the cable to reach. All right, I think we're good to go. We've got our touched a button. We've got our tracking, so it's letting me know that the antenna is receiving a GPS signal. These will go green once it fully syncs up. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how good of a signal you have. So this will drive me nuts having this cable like this. I like to try to keep things routed somewhat appropriately. So even though it's temporary, I am going to throw a couple zip ties on there because otherwise I will be having an aneurysm, a coronary, and a heart attack all in one. Isn't a coronary a heart attack? I'm not a doctor. Either way, it's going to give me stress. So we'll fix that. Well, another small odd job that I kind of wanted to get done that will complete the sprayer, other than testing it out for the year, is I want to change the oil in these hubs. We already did the engine oil. That's all taken care of. The engine's serviced. All the filters that were going to be replaced have all been done, and the only thing we had left was this. So there's a drain up here, and we're going to go ahead and take that out and start the sprayer up and roll it forward and get that so that way it drains out. Once everything's drained all the way out of it, then we have to roll it back level. This line here indicates level, so we have to roll it back forward to level, take this out, and then that's where you put the fluid into. That's the fill line. So yeah, let's get that started. And yes, I will get covered in oil again. Probably. We'll see. Maybe not. Much like the New Holland's differential, you see there's a magnet on the end of this, and still got more graphite in there. So like I said, all of these differentials, they're all going to get graphite. It's just part of the process. It's going to happen. And since the other side happens to line up perfectly with this one, I don't have to go moving this thing all over the place, which it's like hitting the lottery. Oh, working in these tight spaces. I already loosened this side up earlier. So no, it's not that I am the Incredible Hulk and I can just break rusty bolts loose with my fingers. I wish. It would save me money and tools. Oh, this side was low. Oh yeah, we're back to this again. Anybody got any good jokes? We're gonna be here a while. This shouldn't be that long. This hub does not have near the capacity that New Holland differential had. So while I'm going over this, we've already done quite a bit of work on this machine this winter. A lot of it normal maintenance, some of it was just wear parts that you replace, like our tires here. One of the things I had an issue with towards the end of last year was it felt like the hydrostat was pulsing a little bit. And, you know, I thought maybe we're getting low on hydraulic fluid or something. And of course, no, it was full. And I know I just checked it that day, but you never know when you get a leak. But the other thing is it could be this belt back here. And this is a brand new belt. We just put it on at the end of last year. And then I started looking at the tensioner system here. And if you could see, the spring is cracked and broke. There's no tension on this anymore. It's broke back here, it's broke here, it's no longer doing its job. So we need to get a new spring in there to get tension back on there. So I have a box of spare stuff, springs and whatnots. I'll see if we have one. If not, I'll have to order that from John Deere and get the appropriate spring. See, box of what's nots and stuff. Not seeing any whatnots and stuff in there, but I do have somewhere is a box of nothing but springs. Oh, there we go. Look at this. Oh my goodness, I'll tell you. So this would be the biggest thing I got. And actually that might be big enough. I'll cut this off and take the spring out. I've got faith. Well, as you can see, this spring is quite a bit smaller. It would fit over that, it would appear. Yeah, it will fit over that. You know what? Nothing beats a trial but a failure. We'll give it a shot. We'll put this on there. If it works, great. If it doesn't, off to John Deere we go to buy a spring that they probably want $400 for. Spring. Next thing, am I going to be able to get this apart? We put 2 locking nuts on there, as you can see. Okay. I gotta find Big Bertha. I just had her. There she is. Big Bertha. We're actually going to see. I gotta clean this place up again. My goodness. Like a pack of wild dogs lives here. Well, we know who this is. It's mine. Oh, if I had to take a shot, a wild guess, it's gonna be one of these 3. I ain't walking back here a second time. I'll eat my words. Trust me, I'll be walking back a second time. Oh, look at that. First one. Government calibrated eyeballs. Get you a set. Well worth the investment. You've got to see this. My spring is sprung. Look at this. No wonder it wasn't doing anything. Mercy sakes. That's what's left of the spring. It's a sad state of affairs right there. Where's our new springy ding ding? What did I do with it? There it is. All right, well, we just got off work, and it is a gorgeous day here on Delmarva for being mid part of March, early to mid-March. I think it got up to 68 degrees today. So I just got off the 9-to-5 job. I've got enough sunlight. We're gonna go ahead and clean this thing up, pressure wash it, get any of the old grease off of it, all the old oil from when we were changing hubs and tires and yada, yada, yada. Get all that stuff sprayed, cleaned off. That way we can go around and grease everything, press that water back out of the joints and the bearings. And then she's gonna be ready. It is completely serviced, ready to go. So for those of you that don't remember, or you just joined the channel, one of the things that makes this job a lot easier is when I built this barn, I installed a Rinnai tankless hot water heater in here. And I have a hot water tap and a cold water tap. Well, when you're dealing with something like this, it gets chemicals on it, gets oil everywhere, just, you know, the little hydraulic leaks here and there, you fix them, but you still have all the residue. Then you have all the grease fittings on the boom. For having the hot water from that hot water tap that I can run through this pressure washer and spray this down with, that hot water cuts through that grease like a hot knife through butter. I mean, it really cleans this up good. So we're gonna go ahead and pressure wash all this off real quick so we can let it drip dry and put it back in the barn, and we're ready to go. We are just waiting on Mother Nature to get right so we can get in the field. Well, the sprayer is clean, and man, I tell you, it's a difference between day and later that day. Inside it was getting dusty, and then when we did the work on it, we got oil and grease and everything everywhere, so it didn't take but 15 minutes, spray it all off, it works. Now, I know you've heard me say things like this before, but pressure washing or cleaning your equipment, you get your eyes on everything. So if there's a problem, you can usually catch it before it becomes a big problem. And we found a problem that is soon to become a big problem. We got a crack in one of our booms. Now, this crack has been there. It was repaired by the previous owner. He did his best he could with his welding job, which is not a whole heck of a lot better than mine. But yeah, years of chemical. I mean, I've had this sprayer now for eight years. So, years of chemical beating and bouncing in the fields, I'm sure, has done its work on this joint. So we're going to take it inside. We're going to cut this old weld job out, put some new steel in there, weld it all up, and she'll be good as new. Also, another reason why I went ahead and really pressure wash this thing good is, again, the chemicals on the metal. It's very hard. A lot of these chemicals are extremely corrosive, especially Roundup. Roundup was actually originally designed to be a corrosive agent for metal. And then they found out that, during their testing, they just threw it off in the grass and it was killing the grass, and they're like, oh, this works. And, and then that's how Roundup came about. But I like to paint this boom wherever I see the paint getting wore off of it or the chemicals eating away at it. We scuff it up a little bit and just kind of spray paint it, touch up spray paint. So we're gonna do that same thing. We're gonna touch up this boom, spray paint it, and then she's ready for the field, which we went and scouted some wheat today, and some of the wheat is still good and viable, so we'll probably be spraying nitrogen on it to get it to grow, become a full-fledged wheat crop. And some of it, not so much. And we might end up killing a field here or there and just spraying it with Roundup, and then we'll plant beans in it. So, verdict's still out. We're gonna have the professionals. We deal with a couple different companies, and I'll reach out to them and see what if I can get a professional over here, an agronomist, to come take a look and tell us if we need to keep that wheat or not. We're gonna let this thing dry a little bit, and I gotta do that welding. Well, that's gonna finish it for us today. We got the sprayer all pressure washed, and while I had the pressure washer out, I went ahead and hit my truck, and the old beater farm truck that, as my wife put it, has 3 wheels in the grave. What I didn't tell her is it probably actually has all 4 wheels in the grave, and I just keep resuscitating it. But it's a beautiful afternoon. I think we're gonna have one heck of a sunset coming. So I think it's time to slow down, grab a cold adult beverage, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Goodbye from that larva, Beverly Farmer out.
And like a fart in the wind, she was gone. So my son is at karate, and my little speed demon daughter here has challenged Daddy to a race. So Daddy better get on the four-wheeler and lock her in low.